All right, everybody, welcome back to another deep dive. We love picking apart the wildest stories in crypto. And this one, well, let's just say you guys sent us a doozy.
Yeah, this one's definitely going to be fun.
Okay, so the title of this YouTube video we're diving into today is Bitcoin Crash or $90 K Pump. XRP ETF, FTX moves, and Trump's crypto strategy. Someone tell me what's going on.
Sounds like a pretty standard Tuesday in crypto land.
Right. It's March 2025. The markets are, doing their thing. And there's just never a dull moment. So buckle up because we're going to unpack all of this, starting with Bitcoin at a crossroads.
Yeah, like that title says, is Bitcoin about to crash down to like $60,000 or are we going to see it pump all the way up to $90,000? I mean, that's a huge difference.
Right. Talk about volatility. And it's not just like random YouTubers making these predictions. Even JP Morgan is throwing some serious shade at Bitcoin. Talk about a death cross. What's that all about?
Okay, so full disclosure, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, but the death cross is this technical indicator that some traders look at, and it basically happens when a short-term moving average crosses below a long-term moving average. And supposedly that's like a bearish signal.
A sign that things are going down.
Exactly.
Right.
And JP Morgan is, a pretty big player in the financial world. So when they start talking about a death cross, people tend to listen.
Right. They have a lot of influence. But then on the flip side, the video also talks about on-chain data. And that seems to paint a different picture. Like maybe things aren't so doom and gloom after all. Can you explain what that means? Like for someone who's not a blockchain wizard?
Sure. So on-chain data is basically all the raw information that gets recorded on the blockchain, like every transaction, every movement of coins, that kind of stuff. And some analysts are looking at this data and seeing signs of accumulation, which means people are buying and holding on to their Bitcoin rather than selling it.
So they're basically betting that the price will go up eventually.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that's kind of a bullish signal. So you've got these two opposing forces, right? JP Morgan saying the sky is falling. And then you've got this on-chain data that suggests maybe the future is brighter. I guess it depends on who you believe.
Right. It's a classic crypto showdown. Only time will tell who's right. But for now, let's move on to something that seems a little bit more positive. XRP. It's having a good day, up 5%, hitting $2.79. And there's all this talk about a potential grayscale XRP ETF. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so an ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund, and basically it's like a basket of assets that you can buy and sell on the stock market. So a grayscale XRP ETF would make it really easy for institutional investors and also everyday people to get exposure to XRP without having to actually buy and hold the cryptocurrency itself.
That sounds like it would make things a lot simpler.
It definitely would, and the SEC is currently considering whether to approve this ETF, and if they do, it could be huge for XRP, because it would basically be like a stamp of approval from the government.
And that could potentially send the price way up.
It could. Some people are even saying it could push XRP past $4.
Right.
So yeah, it's a big deal.
Wow, that's interesting. The video also mentioned something about XRP's potential in the world of real-world assets, or RWAs. Can you give us a concrete example of what that actually looks like?
Yeah, sure. So imagine a global supply chain where every step of the way from like manufacturing to delivery is tracked using XRP. So you could see exactly where your product is any given time. And because it's all on the blockchain, it's super transparent and secure. No more shady dealings.
That makes sense. And what about outside of supply chains? Are there any other cool use cases?
Oh, tons. Imagine property ownership verification, like using XRP to record property titles on a digital ledger. So you know for sure who owns what. And it's all tamper-proof because it's on the blockchain.
That's pretty cool. It seems like there are a lot of possibilities. Okay, so now let's shift gears and talk about FTX and Solana, because the video mentioned some pretty big moves there, like FTX and Alameda unstaking a massive amount of Solana, something like 3 million SOL. What does that even mean? And should we be worried?
Okay, so staking is basically when you lock up your cryptocurrency to help support the network, and in return you get rewards. And unstaking is basically the opposite. You unlock your coins. So when FTX and Alameda unstake such a huge chunk of Solana, it creates a lot of sell pressure, which can drive the price down.
I see. So it's basically like a signal that they might be losing confidence in Solana.
It could be interpreted that way, but it's important to remember that there could be other reasons for unstaking too. Maybe they just need the liquidity for something else.
Right. It's not always a sign of panic, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on, especially considering the potential changes in the U.S. regulatory landscape. Like the SEC might drop its lawsuit against Kraken. How could that impact Solana or even the broader crypto market?
Well, if the SEC does back off a bit on regulation, it could be a really positive sign for the whole crypto industry, including Solana, because it would basically mean that the government is becoming more open to crypto. And that could lead to more innovation, more investment, more adoption. Basically, it could create a much more friendly environment for crypto to thrive.
That would be huge. And it just goes to show how much influence regulation has on the crypto world. It's all connected.
Oh.
Okay, ready for the grand finale?
Hit me.
All right, so the video ends with this bombshell. Trump is apparently considering a U.S. crypto reserve backed by XRP, SOL, and ADA. And as you can imagine, this is causing quite a stir. Some people think it's brilliant. Others are freaking out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely a controversial idea.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to look at both sides of the argument. So on one hand, a U.S.-backed crypto reserve could potentially strengthen the dollar's position in the global digital asset race. And it could also encourage more innovation within the U.S. crypto industry. Because if the government is backing it, people are going to take it more seriously.
That makes sense. But what about the downsides? What are the potential risks?
Well, the biggest concern is government overreach. Some people worry that this could give the government too much control over the crypto market, and it could stifle the whole decentralized nature of cryptocurrencies, which is kind of like the whole point,
Right. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It could be good for the U.S. crypto industry, but it could also come at the cost of some of crypto's core values. It's a tough one, and it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Agreed. It's like a real fork in the road for crypto.
Wow. We covered a lot today. Bitcoin's wild ride, XRP's ETF dreams, FTX's Solana shakeup, and of course, Trump's crypto bombshell. It's safe to say that the crypto world is anything but boring.
Absolutely. It's a roller coaster, and the only way to survive is to stay informed.
Couldn't agree more. So as we wrap up this deep dive, think about this. What's one thing you can do today to become a more informed crypto investor or enthusiast? Maybe it's digging deeper into on-chain data, researching those real-world use cases for XRP, or even exploring the arguments for and against a U.S.-backed crypto reserve. Whatever it is, keep that curiosity alive. And thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. See you next time.